There we go. More or less. Hello, everyone. If you're catching the replay, welcome. I'm Steve. Mark's around. Say hi, Mark. Outside. Smokeysteveandmarc, and Mark, welcome or welcome back. Happy Sunday. I've got Oscar right here. I got this just positioned fine, but I've got the kitty. Right? He won't talk when he's sitting down usually. So we're going to be having something to eat tonight, and we'll do a little bit of gabbing. Usual catch up. Some Foodie Beauty updates because there's been a few, and I'll be eating, which is very exciting. So for the food tonight, we are having some pizza, just a piece, some pretzels, and a half of a nectarine. So thanks, LA. We decided, I'll say when some other people come in, I think I'm actually going to take tomorrow off, maybe do some filming at a family event that'll be happening, but that probably wouldn't go out until about Tuesday or so. But thank you for the early B-Day. It's very much, I feel 42 and 364 days year old, something like that. So, I've been alive a while. Probably have more years behind me than I do ahead of me, but you never know. So, yeah, it'll be cool, LA. It's a nice little thing. Hey, Annie. But, I'm looking forward to it. Andy, hello. Plus, I'll be seeing some relatives I don't see very often. And by often, I mean like 3 times a year, maybe. So, hey, Pixie. The 4th was not too bad, actually. We didn't do a whole lot. We pretty much just laid low, honestly, for most of the day. My parents went to a family barbecue on my mom's side, and they had a good time there. Mark and I stayed here. I don't know if we did anything, except he was out in the yard, and, and that was about it. Not too much. We put the flag out. Though in the summer, we kind of leave the flag out. I don't know. As long as you take it in at dark, too. My dad was always a stickler about that. Bring it in. The burgers, I feel like we're going to be having burgers at the next event, so just a stranger in paradise. So, I was Joan, hello. Shauna, hello. So we're going to be touching a little bit on this. This looks like bunny ears. If I sit over here, does that look like I have bunny ears? Okay. So, Oxy Shauna, we're going to talk a little bit about Foodie Beauty, but we'll talk about whatever because it's not exclusively a Foodie Live. And I'm hungry. So, the final chapter. Now, I can't read the tea leaves better than anybody else, Helen. But I'm going to say now it's about 2 months ago, 2 or 3, we stopped doing exclusive lives that were just about Foodie Beauty. Because she had fallen into a cycle of, 3 years of sitting in the dirt, eating. Nothing was happening. Nothing was really different about it. So I kind of stopped watching until something happened. Well, within 6 weeks, something happened. So she has made the move to Syria to be with her man, who said verbatim, "I told you not to come." So it's right off to a really good start with this relocation that they're going through. So, I don't know. But that's what she was explaining. There was like a 5-hour live that I was able to take in. I was doing stuff, so I had the earbuds in. Just couldn't believe. First of all, she looks like shit. Even in the altered thumbnails, she looks like garbage. She looks tired. She looks hot. She looks like she hasn't slept. She doesn't look like that squinty I'm stoned look. She has the squinty I'm tired I haven't slept look, which is fine. She did 2 13-hour plane rides back to back. So, whatever. And now that she's back in Syria, the life is very different than it was in Kuwait. If people thought Kuwait was, third world, you would think going forward that, Syria he left Syria. He left. But now he's going to go back. And she's going to go with him. Yeah, I caught some of Milk Tea's stuff. And she's familiar with transportation between countries and all the nuances. I think she said in her teaching, like work visa, she needs to plan like a year ahead to start the paperwork because it can't go that quickly. So she's roughing it. She's not camping. And even if they were, she wouldn't get invited there either. The condition she describes, Syria, is very different. I think the motive is she didn't want to leave him alone. I think he has to be there. I don't think she does. But I don't know what his commitment is to her now that he can't cut ties. I mean, I don't know. I mean, she kind of burned him, but she did Pete's that way. She did Natter that way. Real camping would be nice. Yeah, not third world. It's very different. She's like, oh, and this is the park. I'm like, that's a broke down building. I think I see IEDs. Like, it's very different. She's trying to say after living there, okay, I don't live in Syria. You can put all of my commentary in perspective. So qualify or disqualify that. But I think she knows as much as me, and she's lived there for 4 days and is trying to tell Beezers and everybody else that she knows all about the culture and we don't get it. And she hasn't left the apartment except to go film things that are going to get her deported from that country too. Deported bees, something like that. So he had said verbatim during that live, don't come with me. Or, I told you not to come. Wait a month so I can get settled here. Well, what she walked into with him with short notice was this place that had intermittent electricity because of blackouts. Other amenities that you would have taken for granted in Kuwait were not available in Syria. Eileen Riker, hello. You're fine, you're not late. She's an expert at all this stuff. Yeah, she knows nothing. Now, I would say, what's her name? I almost said, what's her name? Sala is probably closer to settled back in where he is. So and she's trying to turn it on with the two of them, like, oh, I love you. Oh, this. Oh, it'll only be a problem. I'll just sleep when the power's on, and because the air conditioning is going to go into that. Her CPAP is going to go into that. So she's like a fucking power strip, and it's going to suck the life out of any video games that dude wants to play. So, bells and stars, hello. But trying to rewrite all of this as we're just going to be together. We're just going to be here. We're just going to be us. I needed my husband. I needed to be here. So we have Smoke going all a bunch of different directions about during the week out blackout. Where's she traveling? What is she doing? Who is she with? Who's there? What's there? So, yeah, she's out of her mind. She's throwing, it was kind of, I don't know, poetic to watch her life crumble because she treated people like shit over a long period of time. And when they came back at her and she said, do your worst, they did. You reap what you sow. I mean, whenever Chantal tells a story, she's quite the narcissist in that she is always the savior or the victim, but she's never the perpetrator. She never caused the bad situation she's in. So, CPAP for 4 hours. Didn't she have to go beat down the ex's door to go get it? Brought the cops because I needed to sleep. I needed to live. Yeah. No, thank God. Smokey's Chinese food now. Yeah, she's a bitch. I don't try not to use the C word. Actually, it pisses men off more when you call them the C word than women, if you can imagine. But I understand what you mean. And especially when it goes from animal. None of this is good for pets. None of this traveling, none of this transient lifestyle. If she actually liked pets, she would spare them from having to get a new one and change them every time she moves. It's not like new socks. I'll have this one for the next few months, and then when I move, I'll give this one away to another shelter, and then... Crazy for her to hide the location. No one's going to find her here. They'd find her on Mars, Joan. She went outside, they're like, oh, it's a brick building, they'll never see. She's probably doxxed already. There's haters everywhere. I'm sure she has viewers in Syria. Probably friends of Salah. Julia doesn't want anything to do with her. Well, he's gone. But she would pick up, she'd pick him up, her, and run away. Not happy. Doesn't want to rub on her or do any of the cute kitty stuff. None of that. I'm Asian American, so I'm sensitive to racist jokes like Asians eat cats and dogs. Yeah, well, she's certainly consistent. She's a bigot to all groups, I guess. So, yes, Andy, I think her full impulsivity was on display for the last couple weeks. Just where do I go? What do I do this? How do I get away from trouble over here to less trouble here? How bad do your circumstances have to be for you to say, you know what, I'm better off in Syria? Salwa left. And now she's excited to. Salwa left because there was nothing wrong with it. But he left anyway. And now they're going back. But there's nothing wrong with it because we just don't understand as Americans. And she took some shots at Americans for being in a war-torn country, saying that we have shootings and stuff too. They're not everyday multiple, like, it's not the same sort of thing. We're not actively engaged in war or trying to recover from previous destruction that occurred. They're not going to have Wi-Fi up in, like, really, really quick. The things that need to be repaired for it to be a renewed sort of space it's going to take a while. It's not going to happen in a week and a half. She has no realistic sense of the other stuff. So, and there's more priorities than making sure there's enough infrastructure for Princess to put her feet up or in or wherever they go. Sal was there. They're in Syria. She went. He went, and then I guess the connection was he said, don't, said to her, don't come back, which either means she left and came back or she never left at all. Either way, he doesn't seem happy with the situation. Zala doesn't seem thrilled with her being there. I think he was pointing out the missiles he saw in the skyline in one of their first lives. I mean, maybe things are very matter of fact for him, because what does he know? But he knows. We don't get to pick where we're born and who our parents are and that kind of thing. We have a ton of choices later in life, but in the beginning, there's not many. So he can't help that he was born, raised Syrian, I think she was afraid he was cheating, and she went back. I mean, would you really want to know? Why go snoop? Why fly 14 hours for that shit? I mean, do you really want to know? Do you really want to dig in and see? I don't know. Tater Tot, hello. That was my understanding. LA. She went, got doxxed quickly. She had barely moved in there and just got a cat. And then very suddenly, as it's coming out now, the landlord, she says the landlord said he was being haggled by Beezers and didn't want to, lease to her because of this and that. She's shady. She probably put it as a reference somewhere. Don't use your old landlord where you trash the place as a reference. That nice little place in the burbs. So she was going to stay in Canada, but I got doxxed, and it's like, well, where do you go? She could just go to a different part of Canada. I mean, I don't know. Is Toronto? Toronto isn't further than Syria. If it's going to be her decision where she goes, but it's going to be someone else's blame when she gets there. Anything that's happened between now and the beginning of Kuwait, she can blame on Saleh. You and I know she can't blame it all on Saleh, but she thinks she can blame it all on Saleh. And when you get new Beezers who don't know the backstory, they'll think, oh my God, this poor couple just doing their best. He's not even, he was on the run from a war-torn country. And, she just swept him up. What she probably promised him is embarrassingly large amount of money, a lot of clout, leverage that she had, using her first world status, using her body size to show of hands. Put a 1 in the chat if you think Chantal's ever faked being pregnant to get something for free. Whether it's a seat on a plane, whether it's free food, whether it's all this other stuff, that she would maybe not correct someone if they thought she was. One person on camera asked if she was pregnant, and they had said, oh, it's just food. It's just food. It's not anything bad. But she's the kind... I swore when she started shaving her hair that people would think she had like a cancer diagnosis, and she'd let it roll. Any time for her to get some sympathy that's not really sympathy. One. Yeah. So we're all on the same page here. But yeah, I thought when she cut off her hair at first and was wearing those little hats that were just up like this, people would think there's a lot of folks who lose their hair due to different illnesses or treatments for illnesses, and they cover their head up like that. Hers was that she just got manic and wanted her ex-boyfriend's attention, so she cut her hair. That was it. And it's been 3 years since we've seen her hair, so in theory, she could have, I don't know how much. She could have another, 18 inches of hair? What does hair grow, half an inch a month? So 6 a year times 3 years. She could have really long hair. She wanted to rope Saleh back into being her caretaker because she can't adult. That's very possible. That's on a true point. She can't adult. And I don't know how she thinks she's going to get around. I don't know about the cultural diversity of West meets East that you're going to find in Syria. Like, she found everything you'd find in a lot of other places. She'd see McDonald's, all the fast food chains, you know, that idea that there's some parts of the world where it's like the American way of life is looked up to and idealized as, you know, as the best in the world. We are the greatest nation in the this and that. I think most nations think they're the greatest nation in the world. I mean, if she was born in another country, you'd think that was the greatest country in the world. If she was born in U.S. instead of Canada, she would say the U.S. is the best country in the world. It's whatever country she's from is the best in the world, and wherever one she's living in now is totally misunderstood. The healthcare in Syria was the best. Uh, 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 she doesn't realize the spoiled brat that she is, how good she had it. You can understand, like, you can understand Sala wanting to get the hell away from there and get to Canada, but, you know, encouraged her to take the cat in donations, so it's bad all around. Yeah, you take donations for the cat, and then get rid of the cat again. She just covered. She wants to meet, even if she's not Muslim. Like, it's cosplay for us, but I think her motivation is she wants to meet her idea of a Middle Eastern man. Her idea of a so she has this like idea that they're going to be Muslim and they're going to think she's attractive and they're going to go live on love. Now, she paid for this fantasy vacation for the last number of years. Now let's see what you get without money. Let's see how much you can go live on love. When your husband, if I went somewhere and Mark said to me, "Don't come back for at least a month," I wouldn't think that we were on good terms. I wouldn't think that we were like, yeah, we're really doing it. We're building a life together. I'm not going to see him for a month because we're fugitives, but it all goes back to showing Nader what's what. This was meant to make Nader jealous. This was meant to upset Nader. I will say this. Someone like Chantal, I can't see. She's not going to find a better looking guy probably than Sala. Sala's a little, room temperature. But I see the two of them not lasting. It was a relationship of convenience, I think. And that's fine. I mean, that doesn't hurt anybody. But when you bring in kids, or I would argue animals, into an unstable situation, and only she knows if it is, but I think it is, and then have to dispose of them, not kill them all, but give them away thoughtlessly, like you're just giving away an old set of clothes, like going to Salval. I'm like, oh, here's some old shoes. Like, yeah, he's above average for her. I mean, I think BB was a handsome guy, but I think BB was about 5'4", and I'm 6 foot. So if I can see straight over your head with your chin up, like, then I can't roll with that. And then Pete's was there, so may as well be a supermodel for sure. Oh God, of course, he's a god. It's to throw it in our faces. She generalizes from her to everyone. Since she finds him attractive and she thinks other people would be jealous, she tells us we're all jealous. And, you know what I mean? Like, not really jealous. I mean, granted, I'm gay, so it's a different set of circumstances. But Salah's not a catch to me. He's a grown-ass man who sits there and plays video games all day. If you're on a gaming channel making 7 figures, you don't even know me. You don't know any of us, You're making big money doing other things. There's so much money to be made in that. But you got to be good, or have a good angle, or have a good personality. Not everybody who streams their games all of a sudden comes into 6-figure income. Like, that's naive. And you have to produce something that's 6 figures worth of interesting. Not the same thing every week. Not the same recycled over and over and over. People aren't into it. They're just not. The Travel Channel was interesting, but now the Travel Channel is just, I don't know. I don't know. I should probably eat some pizza before it goes cold. It's cold. It's cold. It's okay. It's very chewy. Yeah. She said she would cut off his gravy train if he didn't let her come there. Essentially, what other leverage could she have over him? What else could she have on him that he could say, fine, come over? Unless she showed up and just knocked at the door. Like, surprise! I agree with that. The Travel Channel was boring, but it wasn't done in the same. See, everything is from other people do it, so I can too. From the little bit of I'm not going to get arrested in this country for filming private things because all travel vloggers do it. Yeah, but they make quality content, and I would wager some travel vloggers check in before they just find themselves in another country. They know the specifics of what laws or whatever. You can't just say, I'll figure it out, and then if you get jammed up, well, I didn't know it was illegal here. Nobody told me. It's your job, Miriam, to know the laws of your country. Just saying. I know there's accommodations that could be made. You know, she needs certain medical devices like her CPAP and whatever, but I don't see her. She wasn't thinking that far ahead. You're right. She was impulsive, and she just went out the door, got on a plane, and left. Took whatever was left of her YouTube money, and dropped I don't know how much on a flight. I just don't see it. But it's like new guy, new country, same shitty story. You know, I wouldn't give this much. If he didn't want her to come for a month, it's either because he was sick of her, there's someone else he's meeting there, or he thought the month would just turn into 2, turn into 6, turn into... Exactly. They're going to live on love, LA. Her true love. That true love will sustain her. That she doesn't need food, water, air conditioning, nothing. She's just going to sit there during a hot fucking blackout and stare at her husband dead on in the eye and say, God, I love you. Messy, 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 messy. You know, she doesn't go away. She moves in. Remember, she did it with Natter. The first thing she moved in was her TV. And she said, I just start moving my shit into men's apartments, then it's harder to throw me out. Her words! I just start moving my shit in. So when Sala was living in, you know, a not so great place, not Sala, Natter, when she first moved there, he bought a bunch of stuff. It makes her feel like Mommy Warbucks. It gives her leverage over a man. You know, which I think without the leverage of money or providing transportation, she doesn't think she can get a man, which is sad. She could get somebody, but somebody in her league she could probably get. Just a thought. This nectarine is very good, by the way. Intermission. So, my birthday is tomorrow. We won't be going live. But I wanted to show off a present I got from my parents. They stopped by today. This is a neck cooler. Doesn't look like headphones. So it has R and L, so you put it over your neck. And then it turns on, wherever the button is, and it blows air all up and down you to keep you cool. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating little thing. Of course I had it on backwards. There we go. Can you hear it? It sounds like you're flying a little bit. So, thank you everybody. I didn't say it was my birthday just to turn the stream into a party. But just a couple of people had asked, and yeah, it's tomorrow, and especially if we don't put anything up tomorrow, that'll be the reason. I'm doing some other stuff. I actually have to work. So we'll see how that shakes down. Aren't they great, Lynn? I swear, I'm going to get one for Mark to use outside, too. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you. Happy 20th. I'm old enough to be the father of a 20-year-old. Depending on what part of town you're from. I have a relative who's a great-grandmother. I think she's 70, maybe. Just families starting young. And then the younger families starting young again, so. But happy, thank you all. Tater tot. Thank you, Tater Tot. This wasn't brought... please understand. Thank you for the kind feedback. This wasn't brought up to milk a ton of chats. This was just to... you know, that kind of thing. I just wanted to mention it for a second. And show off the gift I got from my parents. Which is very, very cool. Literally cool. So, I'll be using this. Mark will be using this. Mom said, when it's hot, because I walk to work, I don't drive. Mark needs the car more than me. So, and it's too short to take a bus or get a ride. So I just walk. And having this around my neck to keep my neck cool and comfortable. I'm very excited about that. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Edna. So, I'm going to take a break and wait for a second. So, intermission. Anyone do anything fun for the 4th? I don't think we did anything. Anyone get their hands blown off by playing with fireworks? There were so many. The boys are great. Thanks, Edna. The boys were great. Oscar and Bandit barely woke up, and there was fireworks consistently from just before sundown, just after sundown, up to about midnight, coming from different directions, because all the churches have them, and all that other stuff. There's other parties and block parties and parades, and they just have that stuff at the end. Hey, Sue's Q, what's up? What's up? I did end up making a recipe. We didn't film it. It's not for the channel. It may be later. I made a cinnamon roll birthday cake lasagna parfait. It was literally solid something like that. So that one guy got his dead. Oh my god. See, it's best to be careful. Leave it to experts. They have limitations state to state. My grandmother, Mom's mom, who lived on the edge a little bit, had brought up for 4th of July some fireworks that she bought, I want to say in Mexico or New Jersey. It might have been, well, somewhere they're not allowed here. I was like, Grandma, that's like a quarter stick of dynamite. That's not fireworks. Thai sounds good. Coconut anything with sticky rice sounds good. Burgers and fries. Yeah, sounds good. I think I made fries. Yeah, last night I made potato wedges in the air fryer because I was wanting fries, but we were out. Fries are my go-to food now. Air fried, but still. For weak tummy, which is happening less, but when it does happen, it's that's the only thing that goes down good. That or plain rice with the broth, like the congee stuff that Mare taught me how to make, or other types of things. So today is someone's last day with both hands and they don't even know it. I don't know, Andy. My brother and his wife and their kids got a cottage out at a local lake for about a week. And I think they're having a barbecue tomorrow night. So we'll go out. I'm thinking there might be a cake. And they have 3 kids. Well, not a lot of kids. They're very rambunctious young boys. And they'll be there. And I only see them maybe once a year, twice a year. So it'd be something to go out. So I'm going to have to go out after work or leave work early. I'm not sure. Ideally, I would use my paid time off Tuesday, and on Monday use the overtime I had from the week before. We'll see. I don't know. I have to see. It's early in the month, and I have a contract that monthly there's an expectation to meet so many pieces that I need to get, so many surveys, so much input, that kind of thing. So when it gets towards mid-year or the beginning of a quarter or the end of the quarter or the end of the month, it gets, Let me buy you guys a cup of coffee. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you for the super chat. I will happily get a cup of coffee on you. Happily, happily. 70 isn't old. My parents are 72, 73. 50 isn't what it used. There's still, and as I'm getting older, I always thought when I was 20, do older people like other older people for stuff like that? For intimacy and whatnot. And I'm thinking as I'm getting older, men in their 50s are starting to be like, hey, he's a good-looking guy. Now, I always liked older when I was a teenager. Obviously, Mark's over 50. He has a birthday in September, and I'll be 43 tomorrow. So he's about 12 years older than I am, which doesn't really affect our relationship, just that he's older. Except he gets AARP stuff in the mail, and I don't. But it's funny because he's 12 years away in age from me, and then my parents only are about 12 or 15 years from him, so he's kind of in the middle there. And, yeah. Salt and pepper day. I just shaved my head today. Buzzed it. So you'll see gray, and then skin, and then sunburn starting. So yeah. We're back now. But Ellie had asked, tummy's been good. Okay. You know, I have food around, I have people around. It's still happening a little bit, but not what it was before. I go to the doctor in 3 weeks after I finish up my vitamin D cycle. And if that went up and that lowered my parathyroid hormone, then we're gravy. That was the only thing that was wrong. If it's still elevated after a cycle of D, then I have to run more tests. So I might have an answer, a good answer, within a month, which would be great. So, Susie, cute, thank you, thank you. So we'll see. I love older women as friends. I tend to have a lot of. I collect mothers. I always have. Anytime I found myself in a workplace, there was only this like older or at least strong-willed type of woman that I would always end up being like besties with, or they would provide a strong amount of like workplace support. You could go to them to bitch, you know, and they were. It was just. It was different. It was something different. Mm. So, yeah. These are still going off. It scared the shit out of me. It sounds like, remember computers? Remember those when they were like a few parts? And they had the pizza box and the tower. And the tower one I had less memory than like my phone 5 years ago. And it would make the same kind of noise. Kind of like it sounds like in an airplane a little bit. That, or if you're in the therapist's office and they put those white noise machines out there so nobody else hears your business. Same kind of noise. Which is somewhat relaxing in a white noise kind of way. I sleep best with no noise. I fall asleep best with noise, but I stay asleep best without. So, pizza's not a favorite food, but I wouldn't shake a stick at it. Not at all. Thanks, Mag. This is a wink and a nudge to milk tea because Mark didn't realize I didn't realize we had almost the exact same backdrop. And then this is just for summer, some patriotic stuff. Just a few odds and ends that'll stay up just to acknowledge the season. The next holiday isn't really. Was it Labor Day? Is that it? There's nothing really. No big day off of work holidays until then. Oh, that's cool. Volunteer coordinator is tough. Especially if you're working with people who've been conditioned to not change and have had everything done for them. Much like Chantal. Someone's been catered to their whole life. They don't know how to do certain things for themselves. There's a learned helplessness kind of thing, which can happen in seniors, in anybody who's in an institution, or if you're Chantal. Because the less she knows how to do for herself, the more she can lay into solid to do for her. She was in Kuwait 3 years. How much did she learn? The language? The religion? Did she figure out yet why she's dressed like that? No. Thanks, Edna. We do what we can. We like doing it still. So it's been 7 years, 8 years, and we're still making videos because we like doing it and like we like the people we met. And there never runs out of something to be. There's always something to talk about. Always something. Especially with Foodie, there's a lot. But learned helplessness, I think, in her circumstance would be, I don't know how to speak the language. So here, you're going to do it for me. I don't know how to order food. Can you do it for me? And she thinks that's pretty privilege. It's pity. It's pity privilege, okay? People feel sorry for you. So they give you handouts periodically. And that has conditioned her to expect handouts for no reason. You know, but, I mean, it's kind of just how. Zala lured her over there for the money, or I think she imposed herself. I think she imposed herself. Well, I think push came to shove. She probably said, what I've always said, she's going to say, hey, kid, it's my money. So buck up or shut up. And she took a plane over. And other than complain, he has no other leverage. He has nothing else he can do. So. But I'll give +5 for Sala. You know, maybe as far as the cat goes. Totally invited herself. Totally. He didn't want her there. They live in a very tight, intimate setting in those small apartments. for long periods of time and she doesn't leave. It's like having a dog you don't like or a relative you hate who's living there. Like you can't even enjoy coming home because there's this anger of bullshit that's going to be stuck to you till you leave again. So you find reasons to leave all the time. Then she gets suspicious that you're leaving a lot and she doesn't know. He's not cheating. He just needs some fucking air. Do excuse the French. Oh. Yeah. Pizza, not the favorite food. This is a little dark for me. It's not as consistent from the place my parents go, but it's in the top 5. A day in the life of me, of Mark. That's asking a lot of you to watch it. Love bombed her over there, knowing Chantal, but she admits it out. Yeah. Y'all's got a point. Probably right. She just can't be without someone. She needs to be validated. She needs him to prove to her audience, mostly the ones who hate her, that she's still redeemable. That there's still something good about her. That she's not a bad person because she can land what she thinks is an attractive man. So somehow that washes over all the debauchery and lousiness. All of it. I would have loved if he came over and he was like, turn around, go back. Just turn around and go back. So she didn't move up decidedly from one place to another. She didn't move up when she went Kuwait to Syria. I don't even know if you'd call that a lateral move. She wasn't dealing with blackouts and shortages of things and bad infrastructure that's still being she's not used to any of that stuff. She probably thinks she lives on the nice side of town. But when you have your husband going, oh, do you hear that? Ain't the 4th of July. Pop, pop. Yeah, she had to be warned off to leave the sons alone. I think Chantal was raised by wolves. I think she was probably not really ready to be born into a family, but she was. I think her childhood she was probably pushed in front of a TV with a bag of chips as long as she would shut up, which is how she treats her cats. I'm just going to feed you till you're quiet. But I also think that, to a certain degree, Chantal can't be blamed for her childhood. Having been 30 years away from that now, you want to kind of think about, well, is it still following me? Am I doing anything about it? Or am I still in the same cycle I was in when I was 19? Yeah, she looked terrified. Good. She said she's not afraid to die. That she'll defend Julia with her life. You idiot. Like, remember the time she was going to throw books from behind the couch? Like, she's just... It's an insult to Sala. I would think her being so glib about the conditions there, because she's telling us that she loves 19 hours of no power and no heat, she loves it that way. She'd prefer it that way. It turns her to rough it. Rough it? Who goes on like a outdoor adventure trip to Syria? Damascus. Like, I'm sure it has some amenities, but if they were destroyed and not rebuilt, stuff kind of looks, probably a little dingy. There's a lot of those. I forget, what is it? Not UAB. There's some other one. The skylines when you go through Asia and the Middle East are beautiful. These giant buildings, and they compete with each other. And the U.S. likes to compete too with building the tallest, highest, mostest, whatever it is. The problem is they're not necessarily a bunch of businesses to fill those buildings. So you have all this beautiful skyline of buildings, and no one's fucking working in any of them. I think the hope is that you'll attract people, put some condos upstairs. But a lot of the countries like that I've found to be over and over the same kind of thing. Beautiful skyline, but for no reason. Yeah, she wasn't being cute. She's a bigot. And she doesn't know. She doesn't think so because when she says stuff like that, she doesn't catch herself. I mean, to make a racist joke is very tasteless. But to make a joke like that is so ignorant and so tone deaf, is also the same sort of thing. basically parroting things. So she's just watching Syrian travel vlogs and going backwards and reporting on everything she saw. She goes from letting water run for however long to no running water. It's crazy. Her life is extremes. That's just how she rolls, I guess. She's not alone. Chantal didn't invent flakiness. She didn't invent flightiness. But she also doesn't see it as a drawback. She doesn't view that as getting in the way of the things she wants to do. I want to travel. Fine. But is this how you want to travel? I mean, what if you want to go to South America? You're going to have to hook up with another guy, buy your way in there, find your way all over the place, and then decide you're going to move to Machu Picchu or something. Because you heard they had good snow cones. She said she isn't. Yeah, she said she stopped taking her meds for a period of time. You don't want to. If you go off Lexapro, I mean, I don't know her personal diagnosis. I'm not a diagnosing professional, though I work in mental health. If you keep going on and off meds, you have no idea what your baseline is. She wants an antidepressant when she's sad. She'll call the doctor. I'm sad, send me one. She'll take the pills till she feels better. Now that I feel better, I don't even need to be on these. And then it happens over and over again. She knows better than the doctor. She knows better than the pharmacist. She knows better than all of them. She knows better. I know my body better than anyone else. It's one thing to say I know my experiences better than anybody else. Now Chantal knows that stuff more than her because she was present for all of them. But bodies are bodies are bodies. She's not made of, she's not in such a position that her body won't react to obesity and bad blood sugar the way anybody else's would. She's in a spot where she's got to take care of it. She's too busy to eat or feel depressed. Yeah, I've been really. It always helps her lose weight. Maybe I'm just. She says she's not political. No, but it doesn't stop her from talking about it. It really doesn't. She'll just talk. She doesn't. Whatever her husband likes, she likes. Whatever her boyfriend likes, she likes. She has no personality on her own. It's only in existence to like another person. For her, the height of admirability and the height of anything is romantic relationship. No other accomplishment a person can make, and you can call it an accomplishment or not. No other accomplishment she could make or anybody else can make tops having a relationship. Hence the first thing out of her mouth. Where's your man? Where's your man? Some of us don't need a man to run our lives. We can handle it. I love Mark. I was happy to marry him, but I was happy to marry him. We didn't need to get married. We wanted to get married. It was a difference. We were together for 8 years before that. At no point did I have to crash. Mark took a trip to Florida. He was gone for about a week. I didn't fly there on the third day because I missed him. He might have plans that don't involve me. He's from Syria. Maybe connect with some old friends. But that was not the way she was going to have it. No insulin. Yeah, so she's going to be cracked out. She's going to be not well. And Lexapro strong stuff. I was on Lexapro. It was after going onto it, it gave me really bad akathisia, like I would shake. Couldn't sit still at all. And when I reported the symptoms, they doubled the med. So Sala doesn't have a lot of options, but I mean, he hooked his wagon to her star. So, and to both, I think to a degree, and this has been said by other reactors, big and small, and it's right. They were trying to get one over on each other. They were just trying to get one over on each other, and it didn't work. No, Susie, she doesn't do research. Unless it was on TikTok, she wouldn't know. It is awful. There's some times I've said that I envy Chantal's resources. Not how she gets the money, or what she does with it necessarily, but that amount of money coming in per month. And I think a lot of people will think if they make, whatever she says she makes, if they make less than that, you think, man, I would do so much more with that. I'd be so much more grateful with it, and I would not take it for granted. I'd like to think I'd be that kind of way with it. You never know till money lands in your hands. You can see in Amber. Well, Amber's got her own pile of bullshit. Box Mountain. Didn't she have her own? No, Pillow Mountain was what Amber had. Kind of sits and sleeps upright. I think if she lays back, she can't breathe. She always has some sort of medical problem that she can't talk about, guys, but there's a lot going on, and that's happening off camera. So that's your Amberlynn Reed. That and whoever she, seduced into being her certified nurse's aide for this relationship. That's how much I know about Amberlynn Reed. That, and she chews through women. Very manipulative. But that's part of the game. For her, at least. Chantal is never... She compares herself to Amberlynn Reed a lot. She'll put the two of them together and say, people are mean to people like me and Amberlynn Reed. Amberlynn Reed doesn't care what you're doing. She's as petty as you are. She doesn't care. Unless you start doing something that makes you maybe more popular than her. But Chantal's channel was half the size. The views are a third. It's just nobody cares. How does she get so much money for her college job? She has members. And she has, 108 now. So she went up about 2,000 to 3,000 subscribers since she's been back. So there's new people watching, or she's buying new ones. You can't tell from Social Blade. Social Blade gives you estimates, and the estimates that she's probably getting increments of is like 100. So it looks like on a specific day she gained exactly 100 subs, but that's not how the numbers work when you read it on Social Blade. She might have gotten 110. She might have got 90. It's kind of not exact. So, oh yeah, when you don't pay your taxes, you have fucking 40% more of your income. If I didn't pay my taxes, I'd have a ton. I'd have a ton. YouTube, you gotta pay all of them. Here, you would get a 1099 in the States, and unless you gotta put some money aside to pay those taxes because they don't take it out. It's easy to get comfortable thinking, well, next month I'll save for the taxes because they're not due now. And then next month I'll save, and then next month, and then next month, and then next thing you know, you're Chantal. Squatting in Syria. Rather than take accountability, she moved across the globe. Like I said, she wouldn't be the first to do it. Yes, Aunt Bigby, distress tolerance is not her strong suit. She would do well with dialectical behavioral therapy. I only know because I've had it. As a peer, I would say she would benefit from it. One of the components they look at is distress tolerance. I mean, how long can you sit with an uncomfortable feeling before you act out? And it's particularly useful to people who deal with addiction, but other sorts of disorders and impulses too. Yeah, she blew it she was fucking it up so bad that she had to go to Syria to redeem herself. So I think the bigger nastiness of it is that she's calling shots now for Sala because they're stuck together now. So his life isn't going to look like the way it was ever again because of her. LPN for years. The money that you get for SSD and SSI and all that. Like, I get that statement from Social Security. If you're in America anyway, you get a statement from the Social Security Administration once a year. If you work and it wraps together your work credits to find out how much you would make if you retire. And it goes up a little each year, I think. And if I were to be disabled again right now, the amount that I would get when I'm 60 is the amount I would get now. But since I'd be working in the meantime and stacking up work credits, I'll be getting more and more as I get to retirement age. So, but depends. I have good benefits where I work, so I do have a retirement. If I ever had to start over again completely from scratch, I'd have to quit my job, cash it out. I think in the fine print I can do that. I'd lose, a third of it in taxes, but that would be enough to go, that's my only emergency fund. There's enough on there that I could live for probably 6 months, maybe. We'll see. But we have relatively secure housing. Chantal doesn't have secure housing. She also doesn't have dependable, steady income. I have a job and Mark has a job. Unless you take time off or work overtime, you get the same month. You get the same amount pretty much every month. Every week when you get paid. I get twice a month. Mark gets every 2 weeks. God, it's so much fun to talk here. The time goes so quick. It goes so quick in a chat. If I had to make a 1-hour video, It'd be like pulling teeth, and poor Mark would be editing it for hours. Yeah, maybe they can go vacation on the Gaza Strip. That would be something interesting for her. I hear there's a McDonald's, honey. Take a ride. Mm-hmm. I agree, Andy. Her natural supports and safety nets are disappearing. Family always caught her. Family, mom, they always caught her. When grandma was around, I think grandma was more of her advocate. But then when her grandmother died, I think it kind of nobody made it enough about Chantal, so I think she was pissed. Um, but grandma was the one who was always on her side, who always felt bad, who got her out of Katimovik when it got this, and who let her come home to get out of a residential and all that kind of stuff. There is that, isn't it? They have an embassy. And they don't. They're there. So. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, my parents are both on social. They both retired, but they both still work. Like at least mom works at least 30 hours a week. I think dad works the same. But they're both at full retirement age in their 70s. They could have retired at 65 and taken a bit of a hit on it. But then every year you push off retiring, your benefit seems to go up by like $100 or plus a month. So if I retire at 62, I might have $1,200. If I wait till I'm 65, I might have $1,500 a month. So depending on how long you think you're going to live. And then I would get SSI if I had just had nothing. If I had like no money, no resources. Which when I was on disability, I did. I got both. Fortunately, I don't need those resources now. Fortunately, I live in a place where they can have those resources. Where if I lose my job, I won't necessarily be up shit's creek without a paddle. You know? Mm-hmm. Felt like that was too low. I feel like it was over here like, for the whole video. You can probably 60 at my generation. It'll be like 70. Mine's a little further back too. I think mine is 70. I can collect full retirement at 70. But, and it's different. Mom had a couple of girlfriends who the second they could do it, they took it. But if you just wait a few more years, work a little more, maybe even more that you'll be able to collect. So, I don't know. I'd like Social Security. I hope it doesn't go anywhere. I've been paying into the system. I had my first job when I was like 15 or 16 with working papers. I've been paying into the system for that long. I took some, in theory, back out of the system because I was on disability. But by this point, I've paid into the system far more than I took. So, it's not like my penance for needing the help, but in my head, if I pay more to the government than they ever paid me, then I'm in the right somehow. Not that they're wrong. I'm level. Even Steven, maybe, is what I would call it. So. We got through the fruit, working our way through the pizza. We didn't get all the pretzels done. This is chewier pizza than I thought. Also, we're coming up to the end in a few minutes. I retired after 40. You were so burned out. Nurses do things for people that nobody else do. They do things for people that nobody else will do. Disability since 50. We're waiting. We're having the disability talk with Mark. It's just he's struggling real hard to just even get out of bed, physically, and I'm sure it's going to be mentally soon. So we're doing a little magic to see what we can do, but we've started the application for it just because he'd have no other income otherwise. Bye, LA. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. So I guess just some housekeeping. So we're meeting tonight. Tomorrow's my birthday, so I don't think we're doing anything at all. No video. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, Mark will have a video coming up. We just put out a short yesterday, day before. He'll have a video, and then I'll have a video. We're going to be doing the members only live stream. It was supposed to be last week. Life happens. So we are going to make sure to keep good on that. I have started sending out for those who are members our family photo album. So I'm sharing there some pictures that didn't make it to the website, pictures behind the scenes, family, anything like that. So Go to a buffet for me. Definitely do. I'll be looking for one myself. Definitely. So, it's good. It takes a while. When I got on disability, I got on the first try with no lawyer. If that's any red flags to you, how fucked up I was. No lawyer first try, filled it out myself, and got approved. Um, but it depends. I mean, I like that it's there as a resource if I need it. You know, and like I said, I contribute to it. I don't mind paying taxes as long as it goes to something that helps everybody to some degree. You know, I don't want to pay taxes so that somebody else can buy another jet. Thank you, Kathy. You're July 8th. Happy early, Charlie's mom. Happy early. We're just great people. We're cancers. I think our rising sign is the moon too. So, you know, we're just very sensitive people, but we're very much extroverts when we're around our people. That's what it seems like to me. So thank you all for joining me tonight. We're having some foodie chat and joining me for dinner. I hope you had a good time. Please hit the thumbs up as well on your way out. Also, like I was saying, we're going to have a members only live coming up early this week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, somewhere in there. We'll put out a community post so you'll know. And we have memberships open as well because we're having a members only live. So feel free to join if you feel so inclined. We charge about $3 a month to be on the Smoky deck, and you'll get access to member lives, member postings, different stuff like that. The icon system where you can see how long someone's been a member, all sorts of good stuff. So if you feel so inclined, please do so. If not, don't worry. If you come for free, there's still plenty to see. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you soon. Bye. Say goodbye, Mark.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Still looks like bunny ears to me, doesn't it? I don't know. Thank you, everybody.